Okay, let's start. I need water. Just to bring cold water. We're ready to start. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we're ready to start today in honor of Yud Shvat coming up. This year is the 9th. This year is corresponds. We know that the Rebbe said the previous Chabad Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, whose yahrzeit is coming up next week on Wednesday on Yud Shvat. 69th yahrzeit. The Rebbe left, the Friediger Rebbe left a discourse, a mimer, which is his parting mimer. The Rebbe, when he became Rebbe, picked up the chain of Chabad leadership by initiating his leadership with the mimer, by starting a discourse and saying the mimer Basi Legani. The Basi Legani, the previous Rebbe's Basi Legani, has 20 chapters. So the Rebbe would say a mimer every year based on one of those chapters. So in 1951, the Rebbe started. It took him 20 years until he concluded explaining the previous Rebbe's mimer by giving 20 maimarim of his own. Each one focused on one of those maimarim. And he would always do this on the anniversary of the yahrzeit, which is both the yahrzeit of the previous Rebbe and the beginning of his leadership a year later, in 1951. So he concluded in 1970. So he concluded in 1970. In 1971, the Rebbe began round 2. He went back to the first perek and elaborated and explained it. And then in 1972, he did the second chapter. And then he almost went around the full cycle. He did not complete the cycle because in the latter years, the Rebbe didn't say Meimarim, but he almost got to the end. So what we basically have is for every year of Basi Legani, we have 2 Meimarim, at least 2. Some years the Rebbe said more than 1. So we have at least 2 Meimarim for Basi Legani explaining. This year, if we continue that, and this is what then became the minig of Chassidim, every year to learn the previous Rebbe's mimer, but particularly focus on that perek that corresponds to that year. So this year we are, I think, in round, let me see, it's 69, so we are 20, 40, 60, and then 80. We are in round number 4. We are in the 4th round of Basi Legani, and we are holding chapter 9. This year, because it's 5779, corresponds to the 9th chapter. So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn one of the Maimarim that the Rebbe said to explain the Friediger Rebbe's Maimer, chapter Perek Tes. So let's learn. The Rebbe said this discourse on Yud Shvat Tavshin Lamed Tes. So let's go. Basi, and I want to make sure that everybody knows, next week, Thursday night, I'm in Chicago, doing a Farbrengen over there, so I'm not going to be here. So you may know that, but Rez Hashem will resume the following Thursday. Ready or not, here I go, okay? Basi, Legani, Achoisi Kalo. I've come to my garden, my sister, my bride. Friediger Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, my father-in-law, the Rebbe is speaking about his father-in-law, the previous Rebbe, the ones whose yahrzeit is on Yud Shvat. In his mimer that he gave out for the day of his passing. Yud Shvat, Yud Shvat. Why in the world would the Friediger Rebbe give out a mimer for the day of his passing? So first of all, tzaddikim know things that no one else knows, and even though the biggest mystery that a person doesn't know is the day that they will pass, but tzaddikim have access to that information as well. But in addition to that, it was the Friediger Rebbe's Baba's yahrzeit. Yud Shvat is Rebbe's and Rivka's yahrzeit as well. So the Friediger Rebbe gave out a mimer to be studied on his Baba's yahrzeit. Turns out that became his yahrzeit. But the amazing thing is that in that mimer of Basi Legani, the Friediger Rebbe talks about the 7 tzaddikim that bring the Shekhinah down. So he's clearly addressing his successor. Because his successor, which is the Rebbe, is the 7th tzaddik. And the Frierdiker Rebbe is saying what the job of the 7th Rebbe is. And that is, he's the one that needs to bring the Shekhinah down Lamata in the world. The Isa b'Medrash Rabbah, so he brings in Medrash Rabbah b'Makoymai, in its place. That means in Shir HaShurim. And the interesting thing is, this Medrash is quoted in more than one place. It's in Shir HaShirim, it's also in Bamidbar, in Medrash Rabbah Bamidbar, in different places, at least in 2 places. But the Frierdiker Rebbe emphasizes b'Makoymai, in its place. Why? Because Dafka in Shir HaShirim, it's brought down in the name of Rabbi Menachem. So if the Frierdiker Rebbe was hinting to his successor, because we know the Frierdiker Rebbe had 3 son-in-laws. One of them perished in the Holocaust. It was left, he didn't have any sons. It was left over with 2, the Rashag, and what in those days was known as the Ramash. And this is the other. So, and kind of there was a question, like who would be Rebbe? Now those that were inside appreciated and knew that it could only be one way. But if you needed a little remez from the previous Rebbe to indicate who is the one that he's designating to be his successor, in the mimer that he left for the day of his passing, he says, Isa b'Medrash Rabbah b'Makoymai, in its place. So if you look in b'Makoymai, even, what do you mean b'Makoymai? On the Pasuk Basi Legani, which is in Shir HaShirim. Because the Medrash has stated elsewhere. But look b'Makoymai in Shir HaShirim, there it says it in the name of Rabbi Menachem. And his son-in-law was named the Rebbe. Okay. B'Makoymai Legani, so what does it mean, Legani? Leganuni means to my very, very, very precious and special space. To the place where the Eibishter, and what is this talking about? This is referring to the day of Matan Torah, or the day when they built the Mishkan. On the day, it says that there's a pasuk in Shir HaShirim when the Eibishter, I came to my garden. When is that? It's an expression that God said, Hashem said, the day they built the Mishkan. And they erected the Mishkan. And the Eibishter moved into the Mishkan on Rosh Chodesh Nisan in the year 2449. And that year, when they built the Mishkan, the Eibishter was so happy. And he says, I finally came back home. What does it mean I came back home? So, what I mean back home is the first time Hashem is in this world. So we say, no. It's not the first time Hashem is in this world. Initially, when Hashem created the world, he was in this world. Which, by the way, that itself is a game changer. That itself, just that idea, is the most unbelievable idea that already sets the Rebbe aside from every other tzaddik. In the notion, and this is the notion, generally we look at the world as a negative place, and if anything, we have to make the world holy. There are those who don't even have an appreciation that we have to make the world holy. The world is only seen as a challenge, as a difficult place, so that we can go to another world and eventually have that holy world. In other words, we're here in this world only to be tested. So this world is considered a world of darkness, of trials and tribulations, and a world filled with all kinds of impure stuff. And all that impurity is meant to put us to the test. If we pass the test down here, we go to heaven, and in heaven we're going to experience an exhilarated existence. So according to that, this world, Bichlal, is a real, and it's not important to fix this world. What's important is to get to the other world. Then we know that Chassidus in general changed the focus. Chassidus came along. I mean, obviously it's not just Chassidus, it's based on previous ideas, but it's not something that was that much emphasized. The Baal Shem Tov came and emphasized very much that we need to serve Hashem in this world, and it's about serving Hashem with the body, not using the body, fighting the body, not breaking the body, but not transcending the body, but elevating the body, elevating the physical, purifying the physical. That's our avodah. But still, what are we doing? We're taking something that is inherently ungodly, and we are making it godly. That's the Indian. We're making it holy. We're changing it. The chiddush over here in the Basi Legani is that, no, it's a whole mistake. Initially, when the Eibishter created the world, the main Shechina was b'tachtainim. That means the corruption that happened in the world is an addition. In other words, what's the addition? What's the true nature of this world? Is the nature of this world a garden of the Eibishter? Or is the nature of this world, mala klipas v'sitra achra, that we have to transform? So we know now, the Alter Rebbe already tells us in Tanya, that this world is a makim, it's a place, mala klipas v'sitra achra. It's full of klipa, full of sitra achra. But what we realize when we learn Basi Legani is that happened because of Adam and Chava's sin. That's why they made this world a place, mala klipas v'sitra achra. But initially, it's not that way. Ikar shchina b'tachtayna mois. So what does that tell you? That tells you how redeemable this world is. It makes it something that we realize is achievable, because at its core essence, the world is good. And it changes our whole focus on how do we look at every person and every entity in this world, since its very, very nucleus and its very, very essence is the Eibishter's garden. So we have such a positive approach, and we have such a optimistic view of everything in this world that we just have to strip away the chitzonius and get it back to its quintessential beginning. And that's the whole essence of Basi Legani. I'm coming back to the place that I once was. It took, think about it, it took 27 generations to do that. It took almost half of history to start, 2,500 years of pecking and scrubbing and breaking and peeling to get to this. But then when it finally happened, the Eibishter says Basi Legani. And it took another 2,500 years, or 3,500 years, to kind of appreciate the idea that this is the way it was in the beginning, and we're just bringing it back to the beginning. That took until Tafshin Yud, Basi Legani, when the Lubavitcher Rebbe redeemed the entire world. Just by starting his mimer, he already redeemed the entire world by saying, don't look bad at the world. Don't treat the world as garbage. Realize that the world is the Eibishter's garden. Now the truth is, it said it already in Medrash. But how many people ever spoke about this Medrash? It's a Medrash and Shira Shira amongst tens of thousands other Midrashim. The Rebbe made his Basi Legani is his entire leadership is Basi Legani. Because what is the job of our generation? To reveal the emes of this world. That's the idea. So the Isam Medrash Rabbi Reuven Legani Lignuri Lamakam Shay Ikri B'Tchila. The Ikar Shchina B'Tachtayna Moisa. The main Shchina initially was down here. And through 7 inyanim that are not so nice, look how gentle the Rebbe is. He doesn't even want to say, like, through horrible sins, generations, corrupted generations. Doesn't even want to say that. He says, inyanim that are not desirable. Doesn't even want to use negative, that it's a bad, or it's undesirable. That's it. Hamanuyin b'medrasham, which the Medrash says, Stalka shchina momata l'mayla. The shchina departed momata l'mayla, from below upward. Adla rekiya zayin, until the shchina went up to the 7th heaven. And then to negate, and then the process began with 7 tzaddikim. Vayridu, and they brought down the imshichu as hashchina, and they drew down the shchina malmayla lamata, from up down. Avram zachavoided the shchina merekiya zayin lavav. Avram Avinu was the first tzaddik who brought the shchina closer back to the world. Why? Because by Avram Avinu being in this world and doing such kindness and such love, the world became appealing again to God. So the Abraham says, hey, you know what, maybe I should go move back down there. Like the neighborhood seems to starting to improve. It's like a person who runs away from the neighborhood because bad neighbors started moving in. It was the childhood place. They always have dreams of that area, but then it became a horrible place, a very dangerous place. So they move away. But then they hear that you know, people are moving in, and it's changing, and it's becoming very, very upscale, and so on and so forth, and trendy, and so on and so forth. They're thinking, hey, maybe I should move back there. Anyways, that's where I grew up. I would like to go back, and that's what happens. So then, and then other tzaddikim, Yitzchak, and then followed. Atki Moshe Shu Ashvi, until Moshe Rabbeinu, who is the 7th, Chol Ashvi and Chaviv, and all the 7. Hey, why don't you have the mimer? There's the mimer here. I'm sitting over here with all. I can't believe it. No one says anything. They brought down the Shekhinah back down. They brought down the Shekhinah from the 7th heaven to the 6th. Moshe Rabbeinu was the 7th. And all the 7 are chaviv, are special, precious. They brought the Shekhinah down back to the earth. Now I want to appreciate something. The problem that we have with Basi Legani is because we do it every year. So when you begin the mimer, the nature of everybody is to do, I tune out. I'm waiting, give me something new. You have a chepes nice. Basi Legani, those words have a total new meaning every year. Just those words. Basi Legani, I came in with godly insight that has never been there before. Every word over here is so precious. So you learn it with like fire and energy. Not like, it's Basi Legani again, right? It's not that. It's a whole new Indian. So we have to learn it with such delight and geschmack, because this is our generation. This is everything. This is where we're at in history. The Iker Gilead Lakushahim Shach Moshe. So Moshe Rabbeinu was the 7th generation. The main Gilead Lakus that Moshe Rabbeinu was Mamshech. Even though Moshe Rabbeinu brought down Gilead Lakus even in Mitzrayim, and he brought down Gilead Lakus on Har Sinai, and in the Midbar, whatever. And all the miracles that he did, by Mara, by here, by there, the Man, Herahin, all over. Wherever Moshe Rabbeinu went, he left a trail of Gilead Lakus. That's what he is. He's a godly being. So wherever he goes, there's like miracles falling from all sides. So it's godly revelation. But the main Gilead of Moshe was in a specific place. It was in the Mishkan. Why? Because in Mitzrayim, it was a one-time shot. In the Har Sinai also, it was there, but it never became part of the place. Here, the Shekhinah came in clothed, and the Eibishter moved in to live in the Mishkan. The Chsiv, it says, "V'asili migdash, make for me a base of migdash, v'shachanti b'soicha, and I will dwell amongst them." And the v'soicham over here is to emphasize b'toicha loy nemer. It doesn't say I will dwell in the Mishkan. Ela b'toicha, b'toich kol echad v'yechad. When Moshe Rabbeinu brought down the Shekhinah to live in the Mishkan, but that means he brought it down through the Mishkan, he brought it down into the heart of every single Jew. This is the meaning of tzaddikim yirshu aretz. Tzaddikim are going to inherit the land. How? Why are they going to inherit the land? Because the yishkenu la'ad aleh, because they bring la'ad. Who's the la'ad? The eternal one. The one that's forever. The yishkenu. Because they bring la'ad, the one who's sheichenad, the one who dwells forever, aleh on the earth. Therefore, tzaddikim are going to inherit the earth. The tzaddikim mashkinim. The tzaddikim are the ones that are mashkin. Mashkin means they bring to nest. They bring to nest. Hainu mamshich, and they draw down. The one who dwells forever. That he should be begilui in a revealed way down here below. And as it says, that what when we break Sitra Achra, because that, as we're going to see soon, that's the idea of making a Mishkan. Making a Mishkan means you're taking stuff that belong to the other side and you convert them to holiness. That process involves breaking the other side, and crushing the unholy causes istalik yikar the which means the level of the Eibishter that's transcendent, which means the Eibishter himself, not his lights. The lights of the Eibishter are raised; they're not transcendent because they mamalakalam and they fill each world, and it's all. Istalik means the Eibishter himself, that the worlds are not a keli for. That Eibishter himself, that the worlds are not a keli for, that Eibishter is drawn down in the world when we take darkness and we convert it to light. When we crush darkness, number one, so through the Mishkan, Istalik. And that's the idea, we take Sheichenad. Sheichenad is this level of Istalik, this level of the Eibishter that's transcendent, that's Ein Sof. That's why it's eternal, la'ad, it's forever and ever, without a shinoi, no change. We're mamshechim down here. And when that comes down, since it's the Eibishter himself, to him all worlds are equal. So to him there's no preference to the heavens above, to the most spiritual level, to Gashmias. And therefore he can come down where? Even ba'aretz. And not only even ba'aretz, but dafka ba'aretz. Stalik dafke in this world. Stalik korshu b'chule alman ainu the b'chinas yikar the kutsha b'richu the glory of the Eibishter. Shahagilui shaloi, which the gilui of the glory of God, who b'chinas roim emuzvi istalkus is in a state of exaltedness. Nimshach lamata ba'olam hazeh is drawn down into our world, atachten into the lowest world. Uba'aretz halazu atachtayna, and in this Gashmiistic earth. Zeu Basi, Legani, Legani, and that's why the Eibishter is so excited, because Lamakim Shai Ikri B'tchila. This is the place where the Eibishter had his Ikr, the Ikr Shchina B'tachtayna Ma'isa. So which tzaddik comes to us and doesn't tell us about what we need, what we want, what we're interested in? Which tzaddik comes to us and tells us what the Eibishter needs? It's a chiddush. No one ever spoke about that. Everybody was always, Yidden, we need this, we need that. Suddenly a Rebbe comes and he tells you, that's what the Eibishter wants. Let's do what he wants. The Eibishter wants it here. And the Iker Gili Alakus B'tachtaynim. Now the main Gili Alakus, and the truth is, two tzaddikim in a sense tell us what the Eibishter wants. Moshe Rabbeinu came down and told us what the Eibishter wants, 613 commandments. And the second tzaddik is the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Two tzaddikim. From Moshe, what does the Eibishter want? So what does the Eibishter want? Why? Because they're both responsible in finishing the job. These two tzaddikim are responsible in bringing the Shekhinah down to the earth. Because the Shekhinah comes down to the earth 2 times. Once in the beginning of history. 3 times. Once he came down, he was chased away. Came down a second time, he's chased away again. Destruction of the Beis HaMikdash and so on and so forth. In the end of days, it's the 3rd time. And we know 3 times is a strike. So this is like, if you're not going to do it the 3rd time, then it can't happen. So that's why the 3rd time, it can't be chazaka chas v'sholem in the other way. So this is the time when it finally happens in a permanent way. But whose job is it? The 7th tzaddik, who his avodah is to make it happen. Now the main Gili Elokus, the main godly revelation b'tachtayim in the lower world, that was in the Mishkan and Mudgash, who gam beprate in Yonei HaMishkan. It is emphasized in the details of the Mishkan. Ubefrat bekarshe HaMishkan. It's specified. If you take a look in the Mishkan, you can see that the Mishkan itself expresses the Shekhinah that's dwelling there, and particularly the Krushim of the Mishkan. Because Krushim, what the main structure of the Mishkan is made up, is beams. Many beams, the structure, they put them around. They are the meaning of the Mishkan. You should make the Krushim for the Mishkan. They're made out of shitim wood standing. You know what's an interesting thing? I just noticed, when we're learning Basi Legani, we're not learning Torah Or. So you see an interesting thing. In Sefer Shmois, in Torah Or, Parsha Shmois has a lot of Maimorim. Parshas Ve'era has a lot of Maimorim. B'Shalach's got a lot of Maimorim. Yisroel's got a lot of Maimorim. Every week of Shmois, the only one that doesn't have a lot of Maimorim, it's got one small Maimer and a tiny little other Maimer. That's it. Is Parshas Boy. Then there's another week in Parshas, in Sefer Devarim, that there's no Likutei Torah at all. And that's Parshas Shoftim. No Likutei Torah. So what's the biyah? Because the Alter Rebbe saw Baruch HaKodesh. The Alter Rebbe wanted that on Parshas Boy we should learn Basi Legani. So therefore he didn't even say Meimarim on Parshas Boy. Or the Tzemach Tzedek, he didn't put it in. We shouldn't be distracted with anything else. Basi Legani, this is what you're going to be doing. In Parsha Shoftim, everybody knows the Rebbe's famous Shoftim Sicha, Nun Aleph, where the Rebbe says Nevuah, that we're holding a Giz Mangulascha, and that we should mefarsim it. The Rebbe builds the whole idea that he's a Navi and he's coming to tell us. The Alter Rebbe doesn't want to take away any attention from that. You focus on one thing only. There's a Nevuah, that the Giz Mangulascha. Don't start learning Mich Chassidus and Ayin Beis and the Mittler Rebbe's Chassidus. That's what, sadly, a lot of people do that. They learn all kinds of things. Learn Chassidus a bit to distract from what the message is right now. Right now, so these Shoftim and Parshas Boy. In any case, so you can find it in the details of the Mishkan. Shem Iker Inyan HaMishkan. These are the main inyanim of the Mishkan. The Mishkan as explained at length in the Maimer. The oisiyos, the tevis keresh. When you take a look at the letters of the word of the word keresh, moidos al inyan zeh, they indicate this idea, the whole theme of Mishkan. What's the theme of Mishkan? You're taking our gashmiistic lowly world, transforming it to holiness. So you see it in the Krashim, because the Krashim are oisiyos sheker. So what you're really dealing with, it's saying, what are you making a Mishkan out of? You're making a Mishkan out of lies. You're taking the lies, you're breaking the lie, and you're megala the emes, and you're using it for a Mishkan for the Eibishter. The keresh is oisiyos sheker. Keresh is oisiyos sheker. The inyan zeh bekeresh, and this idea of the keresh, shamoyra al sheker, which is indicative of sheker, is not only on the whole word, but each letter on their own, as it's explained in the Basi Legani, in the earlier Sifim, we learned it last year, the year before. Each letter on their own are like letters that are trouble letters. Kuf is a distorted hey. Reish is a distorted dalid. There are letters that are associated with the other side. And shin as well, even though it's not, in essence, it's not a bad letter. It's not to say that kuf and reish, kedusha starts with a kuf, and the reish and the rebbe and roish starts with a reish. So you can't say that every reish is bad. And my name is Reuven, and it starts with a reish. So I don't want to really bash the reish and not the kuf. Whatever, but there is something to those letters that are. It says the Rebbe brings it that it's chazi on the sitra achra. These letters are seen on the side of the sitra achra of the other side, the kuf and the reish. And shin joins them, even though he's not a bad guy on his own, but he joins the bad guys. He's pulled along, and it becomes shin is a ois dikshait. It's a letter of truth, but since lies can only stand if they have a little bit of emes in it, or else no one believes a lie. If it's such a fapara, you say, if you go say a lie that has no bisi, you spice in a little emes, so it becomes a little believable, and that's how the shin joins along. Anyways, the letters shin, kuf, reish on their own are letters that are associated with the unholy. And now, so not only the entire word keresh is a lie, but the details of it are negative as well. And that's showing us of how thoroughly unholy and challenging this world is. But from the Rebbe's perspective, from the perspective of our job, is adarabah, better and better. Because the more challenging it is, the greater enjoyment the Eibishter has when we convert it. So the Rebbe in Basi Legani gives us unbelievable chidusha. Chiddush number one is that this world was, as I spoke earlier, was the holiest place. And the unholiness is an added thing, and therefore just like it was added, it can be subtracted and removed. It's not inherent. So we never give up on any person or any object or on anything in this world. Because inherently, it's holy. You have to know that. That's, like I said earlier, it's a game changer. Number two, in order to take part in this project, to get involved in this work of converting the world and making it holy, what are your qualifications? What do you need in order to be able to do the job? What do you need? So, and to enlist in this special operations force that has the task with the greatest task, make the world holy, what do you need? A whole lot of darkness. The more darkness you have, the more qualified you are. The bigger Yetzer Hara, join. You're the guy that we need. You see how this is such a game changer? This turns everything around. Because no one is exempt. Adarabah, the more you feel you're not good for the job, the Rebbe says, I need you more than anybody else. Because you got a whole lot of sitra achra. One punch at that, boom, you can bring now and no one else can bring that. This is great. This is such an unbelievable take on life. That some says, I have a big Yetzer Hara. The bigger, the better. You have to be Jewish, so you have a nefesh of a kiss as well, so you have what it takes to beat the. But in any case, nirmaz loirak b'klolos hateva legam ba'osi yeshala. Even all the deal. Kamavu Baruch Haba Maayon Shom explained the great length in the Maayon. The sheker in Yonai Hepacha Emes. What's the idea of sheker? It's opposite of truth, which means that you're dealing with a world that is opposite of Torah mitzvahs. So that's why it's not. So people say, but it's hard. Yeah, that's the whole point. The whole point is that you're taking a world that's sheker. You can't make the krashim out of anything else but from the shkara. So if your nature of your body is like kind of it loves doing mitzvahs and loves all the stuff that Yiddishkeit demands, then you're not qualified to even to even become a Mishkan over here. You need to take sheker. And what sheker? Sheker means it's against Torah mitzvahs. You think about that. So if you feel within yourself that your nature is mamish conflicting with everything that Yiddishkeit asks of you to do, so you're the man. It's the opposite of emes and mitzvahs. You should live in them. So these are opposite of it. Yisroel, and through our avodah, to bring a lakus down in this world. And we bring the Eibishter down. We take the sheker of the world and we convert it lekeresh to kedusha. They become krashim of holiness. Which this explains to us another detail about the krashim is that they're made out of atzei shitim. In other words, till now we spoke about the keresh itself. Now what is it made out of? Made out of wood. What kind of wood? Shitim wood. And what is shitim wood? If sheker wasn't enough, let's add a little dose of stupidity to it as well. Okay? So how do you make a home out of the... I find this to be the most coolest thing. What do you need? What do you need in your toolbox? You know what you need? You need stupid lies. That's what you need. Not stama lies. Someone say, Melech, Chabad Ligand, but it's stupid lies. It's shtus and ligand and lies. And Adarab, that's what we need. So what shtus? Shtus is doing Avedas. Because a person, Chazal say, a person wouldn't do an Avera unless he suddenly became overtaken by a spirit of foolishness. The shtus the shtus of this world. Shtus kipshuta. Why? Why is it shtus? A yid, a heilige neshama, who a yid be'etzem is, a true neshama, ain't a shaykh la'aven eiz aveda. He can't transgress Eibishter, can't do an aveda. Because aveda means pulling the plug. Think about it. Eibishter is makar achayas. The Eibishter is a source of life. So when a person transgresses, and his will is what makes you alive. So if you're doing opposite his will, you're disconnecting from his will, so you're pulling the plug out of the outlet. If you're pulling the plug out of the outlet, means you're disconnecting yourself from existence. So who would want that? And the neshama knows that. So mitzad atzmacha, you know that your connection to the Eibishter, a yid can't disconnect from the Eibishter. You can't do that. So why do we do Avedas Chas v'Shalom from time to time? Smach tzchamo. Why? Is because the Ruach Shtus overtakes us. It's like a person can plead temporary insanity. You're arrested and you're in trouble. You come before the judge. You say some Smach tzchamo that I go insane. But that's what it says. Gemara says a person would not do an Aveda unless he's overtaken by a foolish moment. To transgress the Eibishter's Ratzon, the supernal will. Hey, now mitzvahs minat Torah, hey, now mitzvahs d'Rabbanan. Whether it's a big one, a minat Torah thing, a biblical commandment, or it's only a rabbinic commandment, even that a person wouldn't do. And as much as we know that the Eibishter's will is channeled through the rabbis as well, not just through what it comes explicitly in the Torah. Va'afil al minhag Yisroel. This is the first time I see that in Basi Legani. Even on a minhag, even on a Jewish custom, a Jew would never transgress it. Even to overlook a minhag. It's only a minhag. By a yid, the Eibishter's Ratzon is so important that even it's only a minhag, it's too important for Chas v'Shalom for a person to neglect. Ki minhag Yisrael Torah, because that's all Torah who is also Torah. The dafka yedei shenechnas by aruch shtus to olam. Dafka, because the world that is filled with shtus suddenly bombarded this person. It entered the person. Malosh and helam v'hester, which conceals on the emes. How does a Jew get involved with shtus? A Jew doesn't have essential shtus inside of him. How does a Jew get involved? Because around him is full of shtus. And outside of him is full of shtus. Sometimes some of that shtus leaks in. It goes in through the cracks. And the person gets vershtused. And the efsher sheyaver aveda, then it's possible chas v'sholom that a Jew should transgress and do an aveda. The inyan mishkan, what's the idea of the mishkan? Ulahapech es hashtus telu'uma zel hashtus tekedusha. The inyan of the mishkan is to convert this shtus of the other side to become shtus of holiness. The inyan mishkan ulahapech es hashtus telu'uma zel hashtus tekedusha. Oh, now what does that mean? Since the world is full with shtus, so there's another nakud over here. It's not like, okay, so you use rational, logical thinking and be an intelligent person and do everything right. It doesn't work that way. Because just from pure intelligence and mind and seichel, you can't combat the shtus. The shtus is just too powerful. So you have to be ma'oider shtus kedusha, which means you have to be a little crazy to navigate this world and not to be influenced by its shtus. What that means is you have to evoke within yourself a certain fanaticism. Fanaticism means a certain determination that goes like, it borders on like, you become a little obsessive. Like, that's it. And people say, come on, chill a little. You got to be a little crazy. Because if you're not a little crazy, then first of all, the world will overwhelm you. Especially in order to take the shtus of this world and not only to push it away, but to convert it. Shtus responds to shtus. It doesn't respond to reason. So when the Rebbe, for instance, came to America, and the Rebbe said he's going to take America by storm and turn over the country, he didn't send just an intellectual to sit in the shul and open up a booth somewhere and talk to anybody that wants to come talk philosophy with him. That's not what he did. He sent out tanks, he sent out mitzvah mobiles, large big menorahs, stopping people on the street to put on tefillin, every single thing that is utterly insane. And that's how he took the country. That's how he turned over. Not through seichel and reason. Reason doesn't work. You take a place of shtus, you transform it with craziness. And only that's how you mahapach. And you realize one idea after the next that we're saying now. We're talking about a Judaism that has been around for 5,500 years. Comes one Rebbe, and each one of these points that I mentioned right now over here are tremendous novelties. Chidushim. And it's all in the Torah. It's not like it's not there. It's all there, but no one paid attention to it because the time hasn't come for it yet. But now that the time has come to complete the job of converting the world, sits a Rebbe, and in his first mimer, boom, 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 lays out a bunch of incredible ideas that the old Chassidim had no idea what he's talking about. Meaning it was so foreign that it's like new, that this whole idea of shtus de kedusha, that's how we're going to... The concepts say already earlier, but not in practical avoida, not... The Gemara says that the shtus, that the older man, one of the Tanoim, that he behaved in a way that looked like lunacy. He went to a wedding and he was behaving not like it's befitting for a respectable rabbi. He did weird stuff. Okay, the way he was dancing and so on and so forth, which was not befitting for a man of such stature. And when he passed away, everybody saw that he attained a level of connection to the Eibishter because his coffin, his bed that they took him, was surrounded by a wall of fire or a beam of fire. So they knew that this is only given to the biggest people. And what did they see unique about him more than all the other rabbis was that by weddings they all sat and were very kept kind of within the dignity of a rabbi, and he was the only one that came to weddings, he would make himself silly. But it was a holy silliness. So you see from here that holy foolishness can take a person to levels way, way, way beyond, and that's what the Rebbe is demanding of our generation. Holy foolishness. Because if not, you're going to act like the stupidity is going to get to you. So you might as well take holy shtus, or else your enemy's going to get shtus, because it's a world full of shtus, so it's going to get you. It's just going to get you with your necktie and so on and so forth. But it's going to get you. And so you might as well take the route of Shtus the Kedusha. And that's where we make the crushim from Atzei Shitim. From them we make a mishkan to the Eibishter. And through this I will dwell amongst them. The Eibishter dwells amongst every Jew. All of this that we discussed till now was just a quick overview of all the earlier chapters before we even get to this year's chapter. Now we start, Perek Beis is where the Rebbe starts this year's chapter. Mamshech B'hamaimer Perek Tes. So in the 9th chapter, which corresponds to this year, another feature of the Krashim is that they're called Atzei Shitim Oimdim. They're standing. And the Rebbe says, here is where you see what you get when you convert sheker and you turn it over into keresh. You get a standing beam. And what does a standing beam do? It connects the roof to the ground. And that's what it's all about. You want to connect the highest to the high, to the lowest to the low, it's through these Atzei Shitim. That's the Oimdim, standing. That you will make the Krashim of the Mishkan standing. The Oimdim u'inyan amudim. Oimdim is the same idea as amudim. Asvin dedain ka asvin dedain. The letters of amudim are the same like Oimdim. Who al yedei ma shaham mitzvahs nikra amudei oir. One of the things we find that mitzvahs are called pillars of light. Ekamoya amud, just like a pillar. It connects the roof and the floor. That they become totally one. There's nothing higher in the structure, in the building, than its roof. It's the ceiling. There's nothing lower than the ground. And they're as far as they can be, one from the other. On one is you're looking up with your head, and the other one you're trampling with your feet. They're as far as possible different. Yet there's one thing that turns them into one entity, and that is the pillars. The pillars go from the ground to the roof, and that's how the house becomes one house. The roof and the ground and the floor become one entity. So what makes the Eibishter and the world totally one? What takes the highest of the high? And that's the mitzvahs. These are these pillars, which the same idea of the crushing, the avoid of converting shtus into this world, creates these pillars that connect the highest to the high to the lowest to the low. And mitzvahs the same as also mitzvahs and amudim. They are the amudim. Shehem hamamshichem. They're the ones who draw down. Or mechabrim, and they attach. Oirein soif baruch hu, the infinite one, blessed is he. Ima oilamois, with the worlds. The infinite one is the roof. The worlds are the floor. Especially our physical world is the floor of the floor, the bottom basement. And here is where we go and we connect them both. Now one of the things you see in all the Basi Legani Maimarim, that the Rebbe is compared to the moon. Since the Rebbe is compared to the moon, he always needs new light. The moon doesn't have light on its own, it always is malchus, so it needs new light. So every year when in his inauguration Maimer, the Rebbe re-inaugurated himself. Meaning he re-inaugurated his leadership. He wasn't like the same Rebbe like last year. Every year, it's a chiddush, it's a Rosh Hashanah. It's a whole new energy. In order to do that, the Rebbe needs to draw the light down from each one of the Rabbeim. So the style in the Maimer is, and every single Basi Legani, is that he goes through all of his eight predecessors. From the Baal Shem Tov down to the previous Rebbe. He puts together his Maimer, explaining the Friedrich Rebbe's Maimer, and the way he does it is with a vort from each one of the Rabbeim, creating a magnificent tapestry to explain that sif in the Maimer. And he does it every single year, I think, in every one of the Basi Legani Maimarim, is where he connects every single a teaching from all the Rabbeim. Similar to what we find that the previous Rebbe did it when the Rebbe got married. The Friedrich Rebbe by the Chasana said that he's going to say a Maimer, which is put together from pieces of a Maimer, because that's an invitation to the Rabbeim themselves to come to the wedding. So you see that by saying it, it's because he's actually bringing them down. So the Rebbe is actually filling himself, and through that the Chassidim with the light of the Baal Shem Tov, the Maggid, and all the Rabbeim by saying the Maimer and including teachings from all of them. It's unbelievable. Because here's the first quote. Besides the Friediger Rebbe he started with, now he quotes the Alter Rebbe. In Tanya, in his holy letters in the back of Tanya. That the Eibush is Ratzin, which is the source of the mitzvahs. What are mitzvahs? The Eibush is Ratzin. It's called Keser. And in Keser, there are 620 pillars of light. Tafreish Chav, 620 pillars of light. Why? The Keser Oisius Tarach. If you take the word Keser, you have a Taf and a Reish and a Chav in Keser. So that's 620. What is that? 620 mitzvahs. Because what are the mitzvahs? Because there's 613 commandments plus 7 rabbinic commandments. The Rabbanon makes it 620. So what are they? They are the Eibush Ratzin. But where are they applied? On earth. You can't do the mitzvahs somewhere midway. The mitzvahs have to be done down here now. So what are you connecting? The highest to the high. Keser is above all spheres. It's the Aryan side. With the lowest, it's such a simple formula. Do the mitzvah down here, and you are at that moment connecting beyond to the earth. And you are the pillar, or you're creating that pillar that's connecting. And he explains the Kamosh Yesh Amudim. Just like there are pillars with base, Chaim Magadol, in a very tall building. Itzav and B'yardis, they stand on the earth. And their tippy top is connected to the roof. Kacha mitzvahs, so to the mitzvahs and Aderech Mashal Kamaya Amudim, the mitzvahs are like pillars. Nitzav and Merayim Amaylas, they stand from the exalted highest levels. Ratz and El Yom Baruch Hu, which is a supernal will. V'nim Shachem Ada Aretz, and they're drawn down all the way to the earth. That's why the mitzvahs are called Amudim, pillars. They're similar to the pillars. To attach that which is above, that there isn't any higher than it. That's what mitzvahs are. They're called pillars because they connect that which is, there isn't possible higher. That's the Eibishter himself. Him and his will are totally one, and it's him. Isn't possible any lower because the mitzvah is done in the lowest range of existence. Mitzvahs are done in the physical material. There's no dimension lower than this in terms of a state that's more disconnected from the Eibishter. That's the lowest, the most ignorant possible state is the physical world. So you're connecting in a mitzvah the highest to the lowest. How many are there? 620. Oisi is Keser. Done through them, the oil is drawn down from above down. Two things. Through mitzvahs, what do? We draw a bishter down here. The second thing happens through mitzvahs. When it comes time, when the neshama leaves the body, it goes into the mitzvahs serve as these hollow pillars in which the soul soars through them to the highest of the heights. Uderech amudim ela mitzvahs is through these amudim, these are mitzvahs. Va'ad, and to the point. Shall yadam through the mitzvahs yechoy laha neshama. Lachzo is benoyam avaya. The neshama is able to gaze at the delight of the Eibishter. The tzachzuchos, and the Eibishter's brilliant light. As explained over there in Tanya. Afki b'shuris mu'otais bekamus. The Rebbe says it's barucha, even though the Alter Rebbe is actually giving you only a few lines. It's miut bekamus in quantity, but it's barichus in quality. Now, that's mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are called amudim. Now, the krushim are also called oimdim, which oimdim mean amudim. Showing in amudim. Because the krushim connect hahelim v'ahester the oilim. Because what do the krushim represent? Sheker, shtus, but we're using them, the shkarim and the shtus of this world, we're using it to serve the Eibishter. So therefore, and we're bringing who down? Kadaskafia sitra achra, istalik, the level of the Eibishter that's istalik, that's keser. Keser is an oifen of istalkus. It's higher. It's not a ray of Hashem. It's Hashem's essence, beyond, and we're connecting that down here, dafka. Because we're causing that to dwell in the Mishkan. They connect the concealment of the world with the Orein Seif Baruch. Chazal say in the Medrash. So we begin Siv Gimel. Just like above. Now the Medrash has an interesting thing. The Medrash, when on the idea of Atzei Shitim Oimdim, they say, why Epis Atzei Shitim Oimdim? Why standing Shitim wood? Because it's compared, Hashem is making our Mishkan be similar to the way things are above. When we're building a Mishkan, we are aligning the lower and the upper worlds to be similar. How are we aligning them? So just like up there is Atzei Shitim Oimdim, so we have down here also Atzei Shitim Oimdim. Who are the Atzei Shitim Oimdim up there? The Malachim called Srafim. It says in the Pasuk, Srafim Oimdim Mimaloi. Srafim stand above him. So, similar to that, the Medrash says, so down here we also have to have Oimdim. Who are the Oimdim? These are the Atzei Shitim. That the Srafim, the burning Malachim, stand up there. Aflamata, so to below, Atzei Shitim Oimdim. We have Atzei Shitim Oimdim. I know, what does that mean? Sha'amida de Karshei HaMishkan hi b'dugmas amidas HaSrafim. The standing of the Krushim of the Mishkan is similar to the standing of the Srafim. The Hiksha Baal Shem Tov Zal, as I told you, the Rebbe is going to bring all the Rabbeim. So here he brings the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov asks the question. When it says Srafim Oimdim, the Srafim are standing, the L'chura Tzorich L'Ahavin. L'chura, we need to understand. How are the Srafim standing above him? How can anybody stand above God? Srafim Oimdim Mimaloi, above the Shekhinah. Haina Mimal L'Shem Adna. It says, because it says over there that Vihine, they saw Aleph Daled Nun Yud sitting, and Srafim Oimdim Mimaloi. So the Baal Shem Tov says, how can they stand above Adoi Alagai? Hayoshev Alakisei, they're sitting on the throne. V'tidhitz, and he explains as follows: because the desire is hot, they have a desire to touch that which is beyond Adna. Because what's Adna? Adna is Mamalak Alaman. Adna is Sfiras HaMalchus. Odoin, it's where Hashem has already been mitzamtzim himself. It's where God has already contracted himself to become an Odon over the world. That means that the Eibishter is not appearing with what? With his true, infinite self. The Eibishter is lowering himself down to play house with us. Like a parent going to play a game with a child. Now the Seraphim realize that. And as excited they are by this energy that flows to them and gives them life and pleasure and ecstasy and bliss, they realize that they're not even touching a crumb of Hashem's true light. So they're yearning for what is beyond the Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. They're yearning for Ein Sof, for the levels beyond. So, and because they're yearning to transcend past Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, so the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov is, the Makam Sheretzayne Shaladam, in the place where a person's desire is, that's where you are. So what you desire, you are really in that place. So the Seraphim, because they want to be beyond Adna, they're truly above Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, and Seraphim Oimdim, they're actually standing. Of course, they're standing infinitely lower than him. But once their desire is there, they're there, because that's where you are. Because their ratzon is there, it's as if they're standing there. So the Baal Shem Tov, now the Rebbe is quoting a word from the Baal Shem Tov. From this, a person should contemplate, be very careful with what you're thinking and what your desires are. Because if chas v'shalom, you put your desires in not such good things, that means you're really in that dark place. If you put your desire in the highest of things, so you're really there. So you're mamish. The Srafim are really in the place of Bria, because they're higher than the rest of the Malachim. Olam HaKisei, which is the Olam of the throne. Adna is above the Kisei. Right? The Malachim stam mekoymam ba'olam HaYetzira. Ordinary Malachim are in Olam HaYetzira. Ma'ashekein Srafim, these are like the more sophisticated angels, the more advanced Malachim. They're in the world of Bria. Ubezeh gufa, and in this itself, yesh bechinas vav kenafayim, v'dalat kenafayim. There's different malachim in Olam HaBriya. There are those with 6 wings and those with 4 wings. Kimavu b'kizvi Arizal, stated in Kizvi Arizal, why the Rebbe has to bring this idea of 4 and 6 tafka over here, I'm not exactly sure. But through their intense ratzain that they have, even though they're in Olam HaBriya, because they have such an intense ratzin, they reach above him. They're above the world of the throne. What do the Serafim do? They say they're one-track minded. All they do is Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish. Yeah. This is their longing. What's the idea of Kaddish? They hear the Eibishter being Kaddish. Kaddish means removed, above. They appreciate that the Eibishter's dwelling that's within the Olamais is only a little nothing of him. And they want to see his glory as he is above, and that shukah that they want to see, and then they're with him. They arrive to this level. They're actually standing above him, and not standing over there like wobbling. They're standing firmly in that place. You shouldn't think that when you have a strong desire to be somewhere holy that you may be touching it a little bit. No, you're standing there firmly. But in a manner that no one is pushing them away. They found their spot, right? Not gone away from there. And this is the idea of oimdim loshen amudim. Ki achidish the Torah sabal shem tevi lo yishar ratzon yesh lo hashpa chazaka stam. It's not that the ratzon has a strong influence. Chazal talk about what good thought has power. You're actually in that place. You're mamish standing in that place. So what does it have to do with the Atzei Shittim? So there we find that the oimdim are, as a result of the powerful desire that the Malachim have, the Srafim have, to know the Eibishter beyond Malchus, then they're standing firmly, they're mamish there. So similar to this, we're going to understand what means oimdim down here regarding the crush. This also explains why this Inyan is stated regarding the Malachim. Why don't we say this regarding neshamas? This idea that the place where you want to be, you are literally there, l'chura, it should be said by Yid. As a Yid will zayin, when a Yid is longing to zayin bamreb, is a bamreb. If a Yid, why are we using malachim? Malachim neshamas are much stronger than malachim. So the Rebbe says like this: the chiddush the Baal Shem Tov wants to bring is that even a madrega that you have no shaykhis to whatsoever, you have no shaykhis whatsoever to that level. If you want it, you're there. If you affix your mind to that place, even though it's totally outside of your range, but if you want it, you're mamish there. That's why he doesn't bring the Torah, this Torah from. That's why he dafka doesn't bring this Torah by neshamas, because neshamas are be'etzem elokus. They be'etzem are in atzilus. Even when neshamas come down in Olam HaBriya, it's only that a neshama of atzilus was planted in Olam HaBriya. So if you're going to tell me that a neshama, if he wants to be in atzilus, he's in atzilus, it's not such a big chiddush. Because the neshama is be'etzem a resident of atzilus. He just finds himself in a lower place. But the malachim that are inferior, and the malachim are not residents of atzilus. They are creations. And therefore they don't belong in atzilus, which is pure getlach. Yet the fact that they want to be there, they're not just called there, they are there. So the Rebbe is from this proving how strong this idea is that b'makom she'ritzayin shel adam shamu nimtza. So that's what he says. Dafke, it says it by Srafim and not by Neshamas. Even though Neshamas is so much higher than angels. It's explained in many drushim. The Eibishter is going to put the neshama, the place of the tzaddikim, the Eibishter is going to bring the tzaddikim in closer than the malachim. The malachim are going to be on the out now. The malachim are on the inside, and we're on the outside. Whenever there's a message coming down, for instance, whenever there's nevuah coming down, it gets passed down through malachim. They're the couriers. They're the ones who bring the information down. They bring all the ashpas down. That's now. When Mashiach will come in the future, Yidden are on the inside, malachim are on the outside. Tzaddikim on the inside. Why? Because Yidden are be'etzem higher. It's referring to all malachim. When the Eibishter is going to put the mechitza of the tzaddikim beyond the mechitza, meaning the partition where they belong. When the malachim are going to want to know what's going on l'mayla, what's going on by the Eibishter, they're going to ask us. Now we find that Rabbi Yishmael wanted to know if the Gezeda, he went up Lamarim, he communicated with the malachim to find out. Now, but then it's going to be fakert. Why? It's not a chiddush. It's not going to be a chiddush that's going to happen la'asad lavai. The Rebbe says it's be'etzam now, it's also that way. Why? Now we're living in a world of hell and vehester, so we don't see things the way with purity. When Mashiach will come, there's no more going to be any blood. We're going to see things the way they truly are. And b'pnimius Yidden are higher than the malachim. Asher nishmas Yisroel l'maylam malachim, that neshamas are really higher than malachim. Now, so if so, it should have told this Inyan, the Baal Shem Tov should have taught us this Inyan, that b'makim should etzaynish al adam from the shamas. Why use malachim when you can? The Rebbe says, no, that's exactly what we're trying to bring out. How powerful machshava is, how powerful ratzon is. That even if you really don't belong in that world, you can still get there. And that you can prove only from malachim, because malachim don't belong. Yidden do belong there. But that just shows you that if you're a Yid, if you want something, how much further you can go. Now Reuven will understand Kiyane Seres. The Mekiv and Oimdim Pirish Ratzon. It's a Ratzon. Sha'al Yodai, which means through the Ratzon itself, not because you have a shaykhis to it. The Ratzon itself creates an impossibility. The opposite. It makes possible that which is essentially impossible. Ratzon, right? Shamhu nimtza, you should be in that place. L'chein nimtza in yebetoyre b'srafim. That's why it says it by srafim, by the malachim called the fiery angels. Shem tzirichem la'avoida the ratzin. They need the avoid of ratzin to get them there. Kedelis alois mimadregasam, in order for them to be elevated from their level, la'olam atzilos, to the world of atzilos. Ma she'en ke nishmas Yisroel, which is not the case in Neshamis. Harei zeu madregasam etzadatzmam. Yidden are called the Banim Atem Hashem Lekechem. They come from Atzilus. They're really Kilavad Zoisha Neshamas Chatzuvos Mitachas Kisei Akavoi. In addition to this, that Neshamas have something that Malachim don't have. They're excavated from beneath the Kisei Akavod. But that's not the true level of Neshamas. Shazau Kamoisha Neshamu Ba'olam Abriya. That's an Olam Abriya. They're beneath the throne. Because Olam Abriya is called Olam HaKisei, where the Eibishter's throne is. Ato Barasa, you created it. The neshama is much higher. She's Tahoirahi, Atzilus. Neshamas don't need the Amudim to go up to Olam Atzilus. Ha'oimdim, that because of their ratzon they're there. Okay, but what does this have to do? So we're saying, but Soif Kosef, what it was saying. Just like over there, there's Atzei Shitim Oimdim, L'mayla. That the Malachim are what? Are Oimdim, and through their ratzon, they're connected where? Mimal loy above it. The same over here, through the Atzei Shitim, same idea, Oimdim. What's the comparison? What does he want with this? In his bar le'el, so let's see if where the Hezbollah is. In his bar le'el, we explained earlier the Masha Kos of Atzei Shitim Oimdim, Aloshan Amudim. What is the Atzei Shitim Oimdim, Aloshan Amudim? They connect the Oirein Soif with the worlds. That very light that's above gets drawn down below. What's the chiddush of mitzvahs? In mitzvahs you emphasize the maila, the high and the low in its utter perfection. Why? That the below becomes equal to the high. Why? Because what do you accomplish through a mitzvah? You make a dira lo yizbarach. You make a home. It's similar to a dwelling. What's in a dwelling? Who lives in a house? Not a projection of the person, not an imitation of the person, not a certain presentation of the person, but the person as they truly are live inside their home. Adara, but that's why they need a home. Because to project, they can project anywhere else. That's why you go on a bus, to project yourself and try to make believe that you're a mensch. And you want to make a believe that you're this kind of a mensch, you go visit someone on a business deal, so you're pretending to be somebody you're not. Or you're going on a this, you put up a certain persona. It's all very good, but after a while you get very exhausted doing that all day long. So you want to come home, kick off your shoes, and be yourself, who you are. So if you say the Eibishter wants to have a home, means that the Eibishter too is fed up with presenting himself like this and like that. He just wants a place where he can be as he truly is. That means the Eibishter himself, as the Eibishter Taka is. And where, betachtoinim, how does that happen in a mitzvah? So you got the highest of the high, and where does that express itself? Dafke, Hadar, b'chol atzmusoi, that he lives there with all of his atzmus, u'b'chol inyana, and he lives there with his entire, with all of his inyana. Chenu ba nimshal, the same as in the nimshal. Shenimshach atzmusoi yizbarach b'tachtoinim, the Eibishter's very essence gets drawn down here. U'ba'oifin, in a manner, begiloi, the way you codified merecha, because once we're done with all the mitzvahs, what's going to happen? The Eibishter won't be hidden anymore in any garments. It's going to be Eibishter, fully him, down here. We'll understand this based on what Chazal say. The Mishkan she'asa Moshe, that the Mishkan that Moshe Rabbeinu did, lo sholta bayad oyev. We know that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. The second Beis HaMikdash was also destroyed. One by the Romans, one by the Babylonians. And the Mishkan that was made in Shiloh was destroyed by the Pelishtim. But the Moshe Rabbeinu's Mishkan was never destroyed. It was put away, but it was never destroyed. And the reason for that is because Moshe Rabbeinu's Inyanim don't get destroyed. Mevara Rav HaMagid. As I told you, now we got the Alter Rebbe, we got the Baal Shem Tov, now we have the Magid. And the Rav HaMagid, B'Likuti Amarim, and Mekama Mekaymis, and in many places explains. The Moshe Asa Mishkan, the Moshe made the Mishkan, B'loi Rav Rivnuhi, without any help. He lifted the Mishkan by himself. Like it says, Vayakam Moshe Esa Mishkan. It doesn't say Vayakumu, they lifted. Vayakam Moshe himself lifted the Mishkan. Loshin Yachim. Asher b'chol kli ha-Mishkan v'ha-Chatzer. Even though in all the kelim of the Mishkan and the Chatzer, name of Asu, Loshin Rabim, they should make. Ki lakam es ha-Mishkan tzrichem l'dargas Moshe. Because to make the Mishkan, everybody can do. But to set up, to erect the Mishkan and put it up, you need a level of Moshe. Shehu b'chinas riyah. What's the uniqueness that Moshe has that no one else has? He attains the level of riyah. His connection to the Eibishter is considered visual, as opposed to general, which is only of an in of shmiya, of hearing. Moshe has, and when you see something, which means you're seeing it, it's full truth. And that's the way, and that's why Dafka Moshe was able to draw as he sees it in the simple Mishkan, meaning see it and translate it exactly. Now you can see, if I am to come inside, if I see something, and then I'm told to make that, so then I can make it exact. But if you're just explaining to me about it, let's say I saw it, but I'm explaining to you exactly what I want it to be done, but you didn't see it. You're just going based on hearing it, and you never saw it. I'm not talking about, I'm explaining you something that you've seen many times, so it's nishka greisazach. But a new phenomenon that you've never seen, and if I'm explaining to you with shmiya, you're never going to get it exactly the way I intended it. Since Moshe Rabbeinu had re'iyah, re'ei v'asei, so he made an exact Mishkan. It wasn't like the Eibishter came and looked at the Mishkan and said, It wasn't. It was exactly. Mamish. The Mekiv and Shavadas Shal Moshe b'chinas Riyah, since Moshe Rabbeinu's avoid is b'chinas Riyah. Alkein asas hamishkan bepoyel va'asei, and make it kefi shehu b'riyah shaloi, as he saw it. V'zeu gam kev shal mishkan nasa yedei Moshe dafka, and that's why only Moshe can make a mishkan, not even the Avos. They couldn't make a mishkan. V'lo yedei Avos. The Avos could have already made a mishkan for the Eibush. They couldn't. Why? Avsha Avos heinin amarkava, even though they are a chariot for God. So l'chura, they have already such a deep connection to the Eibush, why couldn't they build a mishkan? Moshe Rabbeinu, his avoid is higher than the Avos. It's on a level of riyah, which brings the seer, when you're looking at the Eibush there, when you have riyah and elokus, it brings you to a state of absolute bittul. In Shmiya, when you're hearing about it, that the Eibush, then he's not so vivid, he's not so real. It leaves a little tiny room for what? For your own mitzias, for your own existence. But if you're seeing Eberster, then you have no existence at all. Because you're seeing it. Because the difference between seeing is seeing, you're seeing its emes. Hearing, you're only describing it. It's not it. Even though the avoid of the Avos is very high. There too there was a riyah, but not havaya. They saw a much lower level. And he saw it. Moshe Rabbeinu was in the epitome of bittul. And that's why by Moshe Rabbeinu is the only name that's repeated twice without a line. If you take a look at all the other Avos, all the other tzaddikim, it mentions their name twice, and it has a line in the middle. Yaakov, Yaakov, Avram, Avram. But Yitzchak, it doesn't say his name twice. By Avram, it says his name twice. Avram, Avram, there's a line in the middle. Yaakov, Yaakov, is a line in the middle. By Moshe, it says Moshe, Moshe without a line. So it says, what's the beer? Avram, because each of them have the madrega of the person as he is in Elokus. Avram Avinu, he's an Inyan in Elokus. He's Sfiras of Chesed. He's the Ebershter's attribute of Chesed. But when Avram Avinu's neshama came down here, it was already an invitation. It's not exactly as it is up there. That's why it's Avram, line, Avram. Same as also Yaakov. Moshe Rabbeinu maintains the Inyan, the same Moshe, as he is in Ebershter, Das, like we spoke a few weeks ago, that Moshe Rabbeinu's neshama is Das. As he is there, that's exactly how he comes down in his physical world, without any change. That's the idea of Riyah. Riyah is seeing it as it is. No changes at all. There's no interpretations, there's no translations. It's Azovi das is, the emes. That's why Moshe emes. He's the full truth of it brought down here. That's why Moshe's Mishkan is Nitzchi. No one can rule over it. Why? Because why? Because it's the emes, and emes can never be broken. The Kamoisha Amud's just like the Amud that Machaber Agag Varitzba. The Amud connects the roof and the ground. The Yoseke Echad Mamish. Keine be'inyan asiyas hamishkan. Sha'or shalamaylo b'chinas riyo ure'ei nimshach lamata mamish ba'asiya va'asei. So what's the idea of Atzei Shitim Oimdim? Atzei Shitim Oimdim is the idea of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is what? Emes. And therefore, what is up comes all the way down Lamata. Moshe Rabbeinu had that ability. What was up there? Let me explain this a little bit, just for a moment. Let me explain this. By the Eidah, last week in the Parsha, it says, the Ebershter says, that the Eidah of Avraham, Yitzchak veYaakov, bekel shakai v'shmi avaya lo nadati lehem. So Rashi says, lo nekarti lehem b'midas amitis shali. I didn't reveal myself with the attribute of truth, but to you. So what is that? The Ebershter revealed to himself untruthfully? What does that mean? It means like this. Something that's emes, number one, it doesn't change. It doesn't erode in time. The true meaning of emes is something that carries through no matter what. That's why Chazal say that if you have a water source which is Mayim Chayim, living waters. But it dries up once in 7 years. It's not called Mayim Chayim. Because the fact that it's possible for it not to be there is a sign that even when it's there, it's not true water. That means that the inyan of the water being in that place is not true. What that means is, let me put it in other words, it's circumstantial. There are certain circumstances that are creating that the water should be there, but if those circumstances don't come together exactly, the water is not there. So that means it's dependent on external factors. A place that there is water be'etzem, the water will always be there. It's not dependent on outside inyanim. And that's why it's there forever. It never changes. So the emes of something means it's not circumstantial. Just like it is in time, it's also in space. If something exists only on one level, but it doesn't translate everywhere, is a sign that even where it is, it's not emes. So the inyan is like this. The Avos, they taka had a revelation of the Eibishter, but it was not the emes of the Eibishter. It was certain presentations of the Eibishter. Because of that, it remained spiritual. That's why the Eibishter gave brachas to the Avos, not necessarily that it needed to be, that it needed to translate begashmias. Moshe Rabbeinu's in Yana, that's right. We said, Avram Avinu, he's mamshach the Shechina, where? In Himmel. Up there. I down here, okay, it's in Himmel. The fact that it's not all the way down begashmias is a sign that it's not the emes of Shechina. If it's the emes of Shechina, it's everywhere. Equal. B'chol zman u b'chol makom. So the Rebbe is saying over here, what is that? That's why Moshe Rabbeinu's Mishkan is eternal. It is always here. It's just disassembled. But be'etzem, it's around. It never... Its nitzchi expressed itself in the fact that it never was destroyed. But what do you have from here? That's the whole idea of an amud. The whole idea of an amud, the fact that it can take from the highest and connect it to the lowest, the fact that it can take the highest and can connect it to the lowest means that it's drawing from a place that's emes. Moshe, Amudim. So what does this have to do with? I still don't get the connection to the Atzei Shitam Oimdim. Why was he emphasizing this whole idea that the Serafim above there, they stand the place where they want to be? That's where they are. Vas hatas, what does it have to do with this whole discussion of it? And you can't say he's only doing because he wants to bring you a Baal Shem Tov. Like, what is the beer in the Maimer that he has to go and give you a whole story over here with Malachim, the fact that they want to be there, Shamu Nimtza. And he says that he gives it dafke through Malachim. Malachim, they're... Okay, chveist. Okay, I'm too tired. Also didn't learn it, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Till here was very good. Jetzt fängt man an nicht zu verstehen. Okay.
My question, if I may.
Yeah.
Last week we discussed the shin, as it's a Rami Tzidkiyakiv, right? That's all the Lusitz, right? The Kav. So why by Sheker you can, by the shin of Keresh, or Sheker you can't say the same thing?
You're saying if Shin is a holy letter, how does it suddenly become?
How does it transcend the...
Vielleicht der Kadosh. Fangt sich an mit der Kuf?
Yeah, no, that's
No.
what I'm saying.
No. It doesn't mean that that these oisias are only found in negative the words. Exactly how the system works, I'm not sure, but what? Yeah, the whole point is that they take a shin. But he's asking if the shin represents. Where did we learn it last week? What did we learn about the shin?
The shin is on the tefillin also.
The shin from Moshe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shin ma.
Oh, that you heard on the CD. That you heard. I saw you learn. That was not last week. I remember that. You were telling me what were you talking about last week?
That was the same